Hello friends, welcome to Programming Knowledge. In this video we will see then what is the need of primary key and what does it mean. So before going into the details, let us first see one example. So here you can see we have a database, and in this database we have a table called student, and it has basically two columns, ID and name. As you can see, all IDs are unique. There is no duplication in ID, but there is a duplication in name. Here you can see marks appears twice. So consider this, if we do not have a primary key and we want to find the student on the basis of their name, and we don't have this ID. Let me delete it. Now when you fire a select query, let's say select star from student where name is equal to mark, then how you gonna differentiate between this mark and this mark? You see the problem? But in this case, if we have ID which are all unique, we can find out a student on the basis of their name, and if there are duplication like in our case, then we can differentiate them on the basis of their IDs, because their names are duplicate same but their IDs are unique. So we can differentiate this mark from this mark. So that's why we use a primary key. A primary key can uniquely identify each tuple or record in the table. So every time when we insert the data into the table, the MySQL server makes sure that you won't insert a duplicate primary key. It must be unique. It can be the combination of multiple columns, like in this case, if you do not want to make primary key as ID alone, you can make ID plus name, combination of them, as a primary key. So let me show you one example. Open terminal and SQL. Show databases. Here we have data test database, and which are the tables that we have. So here we have student table. We use describe statement to see the structure of the student table. Here you can see roll number is a primary key and its constraint is also not null. It means that it cannot be null. There must be a value in primary key. Now select star from student. Here we have 502 roll number, and let's try to insert a record which also have roll number as 502 and see what happens. Insert into student values 502, let's say mark error. Here you can see duplicate entry 502 for key primary. It means that there cannot be duplication of primary key. If there are duplication in primary key, then it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't serve our purpose. Okay, let me quit. um, Open my SQL workbench. Here we have student table. So we have this much of records. Now we are going to create a table, and I will show you how to assign a primary key. Create table, name of the table, let's say key. Now first column can be ID and the data type of it, name, data type can be varchar, length is 60. Now you can specify the primary key. You write primary key, and then in brackets you provide the column that you have declared earlier. I want ID to be primary key. Okay, okay. Key must be a reserved word, so we cannot create a table name key. So create table key ID name, and a primary key is ID. Okay, refresh it. Here you can see we have table key which has column ID and name, and if we see describe table key, we have the structure, and by default it's not null because ID cannot be null because it's a primary key. So thanks for watching it.